Here and Now, the program featuring the news and interests of the African American community. Here's your host, Sandra Bookman.
Coming up, how the Trump administration's threat to cut federal funding to New York is impacting the availability of child care, and what the Daycare Council of New York is doing to support working families. Also ahead, how innovative programs in the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice are improving public safety and reducing incarceration. And world-renowned radio and television broadcaster Donnie Simpson. That's all ahead on this half-hour edition of Here and Now. It was one of Mayor Zohran Mamdani's key campaign promises, free childcare for 2-year-olds in New York City. Governor Kathy Hochul is partnering with him, pledging universal and affordable childcare across the state. Now, President Trump's threat to block federal funding to New York certainly puts those programs in jeopardy. At least that's the concern. And though a federal judge has blocked that move and kept the money flowing, concerns remain. Here to tell us more from the Daycare Council of New York, our Executive Director, Tara Gardner, along with Chief Policy Officer, Gregory Brender. Thank you both for being with us this afternoon. This issue certainly on the minds of a lot of New Yorkers, whether you're in the city or outside the city. So first of all, I'm going to have you explain to me what the Daycare Council is.
Absolutely. So we are a multi-service support organization. We provide technical assistance and guidance to childcare providers across the 5 boroughs of New York City, home-based providers and center-based providers. We are the membership organization for center-based providers in New York City who mainly contract with New York City public schools. And we also help families find and access the childcare that they need, and so that they can work or go to school, pursue goals that they have. And then we are also an advocacy and policy organization working to improve the system and make it work for providers and the workforce.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't have children. I have I'm child adjacent though, lots of nieces and nephews. This is a central issue for families, the affordability. If we're talking affordability, this is one of their biggest costs. Am I not correct?
Absolutely. We work in a time where New York City is an expensive place to live, and in most instances, every adult in a household has to work, and they need childcare. And we're at a time where childcare costs as much as it does to send a child to college. Yeah. And folks don't understand why it costs so much. Yeah. There are real estate costs. There are, lower child to adult ratios that are required. And the younger children are, the more adults have to be in the classroom. And we're at a time also where the workforce compensation isn't keeping track with how much it costs to provide childcare, or how much parents pay for childcare. Okay.
Now, I want to bring you into the conversation, Gregory, because you focus on policy issues. You know, when you have Mr. Mamdani and the governor talk about something that touches the lives of so many people, what does the council do in terms of helping them to understand the importance of this issue, but also fighting for that additional assistance, whether it be a provider trying to get started or a parent looking for something they can afford or looking to get help with making it affordable?
We're really excited about all the possibilities to really move towards a universal system and move towards a system that supports providers. And we are hopeful and really interested in working with both the state and the city. And it's just thrilling to see so early in the year and early in the state and city's budget process a significant commitment coming from the governor and coming from the mayor. These are truly historic investments that they've proposed, and we both want to support them, and we want to make sure that they succeed. We want to make sure that the issues providers are facing, particularly the workforce, are addressed as they build out a system. We want to make sure that we can make sure that systems work so that providers are paid on time. And we want to work to make sure that where slots go, the type of slots, the hours that are provided really meet the needs of families. Yeah. And, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Yeah. I interrupted you. Yeah. And listening to what you say, to be able to make sure that happens, there's got to be money in the till to do it. It's one of the reasons why this talk of essentially defunding at least 5 states by the Trump administration is so jarring, is it not?
It's incredibly shocking. This is money that Congress has authorized. It's made it through many rounds of appropriations, and the president's threat appears just to be based on animus towards 5 states. And this is something that is going to impact children and families, and it's going to impact our economy. The funds that they are threatening to take away are funds that support working families, that keep people who need childcare in order to go to work working. If we suddenly have a massive loss of childcare in New York and these 4 other states, we're going to see shocks not just to their economy, but the national economy. It is truly destructive to try and make this threat against these states.
And as I said coming into this interview, a judge has blocked that move. That does not mean that the president may not eventually be able to make good on that threat. Right. So do you have to prepare for that eventuality? You know, what are you telling folks? So it's business as usual right now.
Yeah, right now it's business as usual. New York State has instructed that it's business as usual. Everyone should continue to operate. But we are advising our members to plan for every eventuality, right? And whether that means offering fewer seats, partnering with other organizations to ensure that children have places to go. And the other thing that we will say is that it's not just a, birth to 5 issue, it's a birth to 13, right? Until kids can take care of themselves. Okay. So it's before school, and during school, and after school. It's a comprehensive issue because parents have to work in this city. No,
and it generally takes both parents working in this city.
Every adult in the household.
And I know that you guys are working to help improve the child care system, but there are also the fact that there are options that some people aren't even aware of. So talk to me a little bit about, it's too broad an ask to tell everything, but they can come to you to figure out what their options are, right?
Yes. So we work in partnership with 3 other organizations in New York City to offer the New York City Child Care Resource and Referral Consortium. We help families. We go through a laundry list of questions to help families identify the specific child care that they're interested in, whether it's a home-based provider, a center-based provider, whether it can be a relative that helps them provide care. We help them identify whether it's near work or near home. We help them we provide them with a list of options that they can then call, go visit, see, and then secure the child care that's their preference, that meets their needs.
Okay. And you've made it easy for them to get in touch with you. There's a phone number they can call that we've been showing on the screen, 888-469-5999.
Absolutely.
There's also a website, DCCNY.
INC.
I was NYINC. DCCNYINC.org.
Yes.
It is an important issue. And
Absolutely.
I think it's important that we are all talking about it. And I think we're going to be continuing to discuss it throughout the year as the governor and the mayor get these programs up and running.
It's exciting times, important issue, and Daycare Council is here to help.
Yeah, thank you both for being with us this afternoon. And so we may answer the phone call if we call you again.
We have people ready to answer.
All right.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back. Keeping city streets safe and changing lives for the better. The Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice is accomplishing those goals through innovative programs that focus on prevention, rehabilitation, and job training. A filmmaker apprentice program and training for a commercial driver's license, those are just some of the initiatives being offered here. To tell us more, here is the director of the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice, Deanna Logan. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. This sounds like a fantastic program in a city like this. So talk to me about just the purpose of this office.
So the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice is to look at old problems and come up with the solutions that meet the moment. And in our office, we're looking at the marriage of public health and public safety in order to keep us safer.
And so this office has been around through several administrations, and it will not be changing in the new administration, right?
It is part of the city charter, so it is here to stay. It serves the mayor. It aligns the mayor's vision of what is needed for New Yorkers and delivers them.
I love the way you said this has been around for a long time and it meets the moment, because when I was reading through information about the program, I was like, man, this is, it to me, it really did speak to where, because I presume a lot of the folks that you are dealing with in this office are probably young people, right?
That is correct. We are looking at what it is that young people in neighborhoods that have been very disinvested, what they want to do with their lives. When I was growing up, people wanted to become apprentices, right? They wanted Grady, you wanted to be an electrician, you wanted to do those things. We did a focus group with young people. What do you want? Media.
Yeah.
We took that and we said, okay, what can we do to support these young people, give them careers in media, and let them know that they're more than the neighborhood that they're in, they're more than the violence that they have seen. They can do it.
Yeah, and also before we get to some of the initiatives, which to me are really exciting. I mean, if I was a young person looking at this seemed that you could find something that does, hold your interest and gives you some options in life. Where do the participants come from? How do they come to your attention and become part of this program?
The people who are coming in for like Flip the Script, which is media, they'll come in from neighborhood organizations, through DA's offices. NYPD may say that they're young people that we have encountered that look like they could use some support and would be good for the program. So we do screenings of individuals to make sure that they are ready to take advantage of the opportunities. The district attorney's office has part of the referral process. A neighbor can raise from one of our community organizations, can say, here's an individual. Okay. They can get a slot.
So we've said justice involved, but are we talking about kids that have gotten into trouble, that have been charged, or maybe they've had a brush with the law, and once you had a chance to figure out what was going on with them, you're like, this kid, all he needs is some guidance and direction. He doesn't need to be in the system.
All of the above. Okay. In addition to individuals who have had trauma from losing a loved one to gun violence, because we know that individuals who have lost people also are at risk for getting into the criminal legal system. Yeah. So it's really identifying those people who have had that trauma and giving them a way to address the trauma and move past that trauma.
Yeah. Okay, so some of the programs, you mentioned that first one, Flip the Script, which I just thought, what an interesting, it's a 40-week program that trains at-risk teenagers and young adults, really in filmmaking, right?
That is correct. Okay. They create a short film at the end of the program, but it invests in them. It allows them to understand where they're going to do. They get mentors. They start unpacking the things that they have seen in their lives. They look for where the off-ramps are for them, what they are allowed to dream about, things that they historically were told they couldn't dream about. And it gives them the security and safety in an environment to learn about filmmaking and then actually put their skills to the test.
All right, and we're talking mainly, we're 18 to 24-year-old, and they're paid, right?
That is correct. Much of our programming is done as internships. We want people to know that their time and their energy is valuable, and so we start that foundation with making sure it's a paid internship, that they are valued and they know it.
Now, another program, Emerge, the Emerge career, you focus on commercial driver's license training, right? What does that involve?
So again, we're looking at individuals who have had criminal legal history. That's one of the main criteria. And we're giving them the opportunity to learn how to do the CDL. The fantastic thing about that program is that it acknowledges that everybody has different needs when you're coming back from incarceration. Some people are parents, some people have mothers that they have to support. So it uses technology so that people can start the course at their own pace. Most people finish it in 6 to 8 weeks, but they can do it after they pick their kids up from school. They can do it before they take their kids to school at their own pace.
And there is really a need for commercial drivers, is there not?
Well, there was a 60,000 vacancy that we saw, which was one of the reasons why we looked at how we could get into this professional line. And it is a very lucrative career for individuals coming back from incarceration who historically face stigma.
Yeah, the salaries are nothing to sneeze at, right?
Correct.
Now, there's also the Cannabis Reentry Employment Assistance and Training Experience, CREATE, I think you call it. And I know that there's the program that if you were involved in the system because of a drug conviction, but we're not talking about those folks, are we?
Well, yes, we are, because here's the law that allowed cannabis to be legal in New York really spoke to how do we make sure those people that have been most negatively impacted by the enforcement of cannabis are getting the opportunities. So here we have an industry that's burgeoning. You need individuals who can come in and handle every aspect of the industry, from the bud tending to the delivery to the sales to the marketing to the security. And how do we make sure that those people that have been most negatively impacted get the training and opportunity to be in this industry?
In the legitimate
industry.
And I'm looking at it here. Last year, 100% of the graduating class found jobs.
That is correct.
With a salary range between $80,000 and $125,000
on our commercial driver's license program. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So and that is really what you are trying to not only get these young people to understand, to give them the training, but also employers to understand that these are not just people you throw away. They just need a leg up.
Thank you for that, because people coming back from incarceration face so many barriers. The ability to have just that opportunity, that chance to do more. They have families that they're coming back that they want to support. They have dreams of what their lives can be now that they have paid their debt to society. This is amazing work for them.
And honestly, everything about the program sounds amazing. I'm going to send folks to criminaljustice.cityofnewyork.us for more information about the program. Deanna, Logan, it's nice to do a job that you know that you're doing good for the world, right?
It is a job of love.
Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. He's a broadcast icon and music legend, a respected voice and true pioneer with more than 5 decades on the airwaves. Backed by popular demand is the second season of his podcast and a new partnership with the Black-owned global streaming channel Discover.TV. It is our pleasure to welcome the one and only Donnie Simpson.
Thank you.
You have made my day, but none of it was untrue.
Well, thank you.
You know, we called everybody in the building and said, guess who's going to be here? Donnie Simpson. No, seriously.
Oh, you got some wonderful people here, too.
No, they really are wonderful. And don't deflect. So are you.
Thank you.
As you asked me, you single-handedly made BET the success it was with Video Soul.
Wow.
I don't know that it would have reached as many people or as many households had you not been Donnie Simpson at the helm of that show.
Well, thank you for that.
I mean,
Bob has always given me credit for that. No money, but credit.
well, that's going to be between you and him.
But you know, I'm proud of that we created the world's first black billionaire, Bob Johnson.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
55 years in this business. Was it what you always wanted to do? And I know you got your start very, very, very young.
Very early. I was 15 when I started in radio in Detroit. And so, you know, I didn't see all of this. I mean, with television and all of that, I was a DJ. That's, you know, and I'm still a DJ. I mean, even with BET, I was a DJ. I'm playing music. That's what I do.
You just happen to have that great voice along with TV good looks and
wow.
And well, hey, that's the medium we're in, right? But you've excelled at it. So there's a reason that you're still around, you know, these decades later.
Yeah, well, you know, and I don't spend any time trying to figure that out, you know. As a matter of fact, I try not to figure things out, you know. To me, radio, television, it's a magic that just is. It just exists. I never watch myself on TV. I'm just, because I know I'll be so critical.
Yeah,
And
too focused on that.
and trying to be perfect. And I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be me. That's it. It's simple.
I think we need to put that on a T-shirt. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be Donnie Simpson.
Hey, I got to go. That's a good idea. We sell a lot of T-shirts in D.C. I'll be right back.
Yes, just kidding. Now, but you are dipping your toes into, or have, I should say, the podcast world.
Yeah.
Why was that something? I mean, it makes sense with your skill set.
Yeah. Well, that's where things have gone. And, for me, it was a chance to create something that I owned. I always felt that I was a hired smile.
Yeah.
And I did well. I mean, I'm not complaining about it. It was great. But I would always be jealous when the plumber pulled up to the house and the truck says, Smith & Son since 1956. I go, wow, he's got something he can hand down to the kids, a business, And so that's what this moment in time is about for me, trying to create something that I can hand down to my family. You can't hand down popularity.
Yeah.
And an opportunity to create other opportunities for other people. And we want to talk about that, but this is Discover.TV thing is important to me.
No, truly.
Because I'm part owner of this platform.
So talk to me about, well, first, Donnie Simpson, what do you focus on your podcast?
It's celebrity interviews, just like Video Soul.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, as God would have it, I ended up in the same studio that I did Video Soul in all those years ago.
Well, that's a great talisman.
And most of the people there, the camera guy, stagehand, were all there when I did it 30 years ago. So it's this feeling of coming home that's so cool. And if you watch the show, you'll see it with the guest even. Like our first guest was Big Daddy Kane, and he came in, and it's just, he's reminiscing about how, years ago when he came to visit me there on Video Soul. And so it's a really cool, warm kind of feeling.
And you both are still in the game.
Oh, yeah, still in the game.
So Discover TV, that partnership, talk to me about what Discover TV is. Wait a minute, am I saying that right?
Yeah, Discovered.TV. Discovered.TV.
Okay.
Well, it's like a social media streaming program format for creators, for content creators. I don't care what it is that you do. If it's movie shorts, movie longs, if it's gaming, whatever you do, you can put it like a YouTube where you can put it up, but we make sure you get a fair share of the dollar. It's a 50-50 split, with these content creators. And so, for me, it's awesome because I get a chance to try to discover new talents. Discover.TV. Like this one talent out of Detroit that I really love. Her name is Lindsay Renee. She does a show called, I think it's called R&B Police and Soul Patrol or something like that. But she's 23 years old, but stuck in the 60s and 70s musically. That's all she hears. And I love that. She tells me about music that's my generation that I don't even know. You never heard this by the Temptations? No!
It surprised you.
So, I want to bring something like that to the platform, something different, And so that's important to me, to give other people this light.
Sometimes my mom, she had this saying where she'd say, nothing gets old but clothes. And there's nothing new under the sun. And in a way, yes, technology changes. Maybe we do things a little different. But at the heart of that kind of creativity, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a different generation.
Yeah, the people change.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you keep...
And maybe the mechanisms change.
Yeah.
And is that this, you have a love and a deep respect for that kind of, not just music, but as you said, talent. And this sort of allows you to entertain that while really probably changing some other lives.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's like people always say you have to recreate yourself. And it's like, I've never recreated myself. I'm the same dude I've always been.
Yeah.
Things change. I go from radio to television to now podcasting. But Donnie hasn't changed. I'm still the same guy. That's
with the same skill set.
But I'm telling you, my skill set is it's so simple to me. I don't have a skill set. I don't know how to do anything. Only thing I know how to do is be me. That's what I do. That's the magic to me. It's just that simple. I've always felt this, that there were 1,000 people out there waiting to take my job, and that 500 of them were just as good as I am. The other 500 are better.
All right.
The only thing I can beat them all at is being me. You can't beat me doing that.
You're a humble guy, aren't you?
Well, you should be.
Yeah.
You want to be. Yeah, you don't want God to have to humble you.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. DonnieSimpson.com is where we can send folks to take a look at all the things that you're involved with right now.
Absolutely.
We want to also send them to discover.tv to see what wonderful talent you're going to help folks put their fingers on next.
Right.
And this is a co-owned joint venture that you're working with.
Yes, it's Black-owned, but I'm one of the owners of it.
All right.
And proud of that.
Congratulations.
Well,
you can
thank
come
you so
back
much.
anytime and perhaps bring some of this wonderful new talent that you're talking to us about.
Okay, I would love to. I would love to. Thank you so much
What a
for having
pleasure to
me
meet
today.
you. Really,
It's
our
my
pleasure.
honor, really. Thank you so
very
much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Here and Now. If you missed any portion of today's show, you can watch at abc7ny.com/Here and Now or listen to our podcast wherever you subscribe. If you'd like to comment or share your story, email us at hereandnow@wabc.com or follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Sandra Bookman. Enjoy the rest of your day.